it's me, Alanna Noel. It's Recipe for Crazy. And you know what? I didn't post I didn't post a recipe. I actually didn't. I didn't post a recipe or a podcast for that matter in like the last week. And you know what? I'm going to be I'm starting. Oh my God. This is what I do with men. I have to apologize. All right. This is me making an official formal apology for the first time ever. Ladies and gents, listen up. I am sorry. This is actually how I treat men. I get really excited about them. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm so into this right now. I'm all about it. Then I go ghost. I just drop something. I just like disappear, a disappearing act. And then I start regretting it. And I'm like, fuck, I think I kind of liked him. But how do I reach back out now? Like I ghosted, what do I do? And then I like think about it. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm tired. It's late. I'm going to go to sleep, and tomorrow I'll address it and I'll figure it out. And then tomorrow never comes. And that's kind of what just happened this past week. And I'm not going to do that to you guys. I'm not going to ghost you. All right. I love you. Anyway, something terrifying happened to me tonight. I was scrolling through TikTok on my For You page, and all of a sudden Dane Cook popped up on a live. Good God, man. What happened to you, bruh? What happened to him? I was like, holy shit, this motherfucker is ugly. And you know what? And he has a child bride. I mean, he must have a lot of money. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how. It would take a lot of money, honey. I mean, I am staying at my mom's house right now, so maybe not that much money, but I am staying here voluntarily. Okay. It's not like I have to. I'm just like, people are dying, literally. Anyways, yeah, man, that guy really has seen better days. And then and then I really started spiraling because holy fuck, I think I kind of, okay, correct me if I'm wrong here. Granted, I've never really let you guys see me that vulnerable. Maybe I will because, to give you some perspective, but let me know if I'm wrong here. Okay. Tell me if I'm a little off base. I think I'm kind of aging like Dane Cook. Like I'm looking at him and I'm like, dude, like I see it. I think Dane Cook and I kind of look alike. It's not like it's not like immediate. It's not like immediately you look at Dane Cook and you're like, that's Alanna. No. You got to kind of really give him a look and kind of look in the lower half of his face. I think the lower half of my face is kind of aging like Dane Cook's. And I'm scared. I really am. And I don't really know what you can do about the lower half of your face, just like aesthetically speaking, as far as like surgery goes. I mean, I think you'd have to get surgery. Like, yeah, needles. You can't get Botox your fucking lower face. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? The lower half of your face starts just drooping like you're a freaking Van Gogh painting. Like, that's how I feel. Like, I feel like that screaming guy in the Van Gogh painting when he's just like, his face is melting off. That's literally me. I'm like a melting goddamn candle. I feel like every day I'm just getting older and older and older. God, my eggs are dying. As we speak, they're just dying one by one. Life is catching up, man. Life is catching up. What are you going to do? We got a guest today, a man. Have I had a man enter this podcast? No. I haven't even had a man enter me lately for that matter, but I have a man entering this podcast. There's a man, okay? Trigger warning, a man is about to be here. Okay. He's about to invade your ears. He's a good man. I like this man. He's a good guy. He has a podcast. His name is Dave Neal. He hosts a podcast, Bachelor Rush Hour. He has a YouTube channel. He's pretty good. He's great. He's got a community, all right, of people. This guy, okay, we're going to talk about it, but he is getting sued by some. So first of all, I don't know if you know about this. Clayton Eckerts. Remember Eckerts? Do you guys remember Eckerts? It used to be a pharmacy, like a CVS, and then they all went downhill. I don't know what happened to them. I used to love Eckerts. Anyways, Clayton Eckert. I should know this. I worked with him many times. For a long time, I've known him. Anywho, okay, Clayton, former bachelor, some woman gave him a blowjob. And then immaculate conception happened and she said she was pregnant. It like leaked out. Initially, Clayton got all this backlash. Then people started to realize this chick might be a little cuckoo. I won't say crazy because that title is earned, not just given. And the thing is, I could sit here and talk shit about this woman, but the truth of the matter is, I think there's actually something wrong with her. She was never actually pregnant. And this is alleged. This hasn't been proven in a court of law. But now suddenly she's not pregnant with twins. Yes, twins from a blowjob. Imagine. God, wow. You should play the lottery. If that's true, play the motherfucking lottery. But anyways, she allegedly is not actually pregnant, never produced any evidence of ever forming life with him. So he's been through a lot lately. And Dave Neal has reported a lot about it. We talk about it. And this woman, and he's like a reporter, he's a journalist. So she's like suing him for reporting this. So anyways, yeah, I could talk shit about this woman, but the truth is, if you learned about the case, if you care, whatever, I think there's something wrong with her, because the things she's doing are just a little, it's off. And she's done this to multiple men, allegedly. So I think she needs help. And yeah, you can be like a crazy ex, or like you can be like some psycho bitch or whatever the fuck. But like what she's doing is kind of like beyond. Like she never had a relationship with him. Like, they hooked up. Like you don't fake a pregnancy after one BJ, I mean, any girl knows if you're really going to fake a pregnancy, you got to establish a relationship with the person. You got to be really close with them. And then when you feel them inching away slower and slower and slower, that's when you pull the pregnancy card. All right. You don't do it right off the jump, girl. Come on. Get it together. You wait a little bit. You get close. You say you're pregnant. You get your $500, to go get your abortion, whatever you need it for. With this girl, I don't know what the hell her angle is. I don't know what her motivation is. It's rather strange, if I'm being honest. So yeah, we talked about that. I gotta say, I did something to Clayton I shouldn't have done this week, and I apologize, sir. I'm so sorry. My friend and I tried to pull a prank on Clayton, like just for funsies. And I think it was a little too soon. We basically called him and we're like, this is TMZ. We have reports that from a woman that says that you stiffed her on a date. And then we took it a step further because we wanted to like really like get him to like realize this as a joke. And then we said like, also she said that you're into furries and that you want her to dress up as a squirrel and fuck. Then my friend was like, listen, man, I'm into it too. Like I've dabbled in my furries, I've dressed as a bunny. I've hopped around, who hasn't? And he's laughing. He's having a good time. But afterwards I called him. He was laughing. He kind of like knew it was me. But he really thought it was for real because, he really has had some crazy accusations made against him recently. So I felt so bad because these accusations that have been made against him are completely false. This is all happening now. So anyways, Dave's getting sued. Poor Clayton's going through the ringer. I'm so sorry for, I was really just trying to make him laugh, and it was a little too soon. Maybe I should have waited a few months to get him to crack a smile, or maybe gone with a different angle. Not that, TMZ is a reporting that you like to get fucked by squirrels. That might have been a little too far. But, that's what I do, baby. I go a little too far, whatever. Yeah. I had a moment a couple weeks ago where I was kind of flipping out because I have all these insane receipts that would bring a man to his knees. And when I say a man, I mean my ex-boyfriend. And when I say a man, I mean some of the female contestants from previous Bachelor seasons. I have receipts in my possessions that would truly send someone to their grave. And I thought I lost them. I sent a lot to Courtney Robertson when we did our podcast. When I went on her podcast a couple weeks ago, because I wanted her to see and be like, okay, yeah, like she's legit, whatever. But I didn't send her the really bad ones because I didn't know where the fuck they were. Because I like to have those things ready. Like I have them on deck just in case someone tries to like pull a fast one on me. I'm going to be like, psh, 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 fuck with that, bitch. What are you going to do now? What are you going to do now? You can't deny that. Look at it. Look at it. Tell me. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Okay? Anyways, I thought I lost those and I was kind of having a panic attack. And then the other night, I couldn't sleep per usual. And I don't know why, but I went into my hidden. I actually do know why. I was looking for a specific video. I couldn't find it anywhere. And I remembered, there's a hidden photos app. or there's a hidden folder on your photo. If you like open photos on your iPhone, if you're a normal person with an iPhone and not a lunatic with an Android, you open your iPhone, you hit photos, you scroll all the way down. There's a thing that says hidden photos. You click that, scans your face, you go in, you can hide photos in there. Okay. I've got some interesting things in there. Anyways, I didn't realize this, but what I did back in August before my ex-boyfriend came home, because I knew he was going to come home and like freak out and like look at my phone and so I hid all that stuff in my hidden folder. So if somehow he got onto one of my devices, because we had each other's passwords for everything, I had a bunch of devices. He could have popped on anything. I figured, let me hide these so he doesn't go delete them or whatever. And of course, I've told the story, but he did end up going on my iPad and all that shit. So I was right in doing that, but I totally fucking forgot I did that. So anyways, I go on my freaking hidden photo folder, whatever the fuck, the other night, looking through, and there it is, baby. All those juicy, ooey gooey receipts right there. And I was like, oh God, yeah, that's the stuff, man. I started reading through them again. And then I sent them to a few people who, not they didn't believe me, but I think like, they had relationships with some people and they might have been like kind of, not really knowing how to feel. So I just like fired those bad boys off to specific people that I trust, just so they know, just so they understand. This isn't a joke, sweetie. This is all real. Not a lie has escaped my mouth hole. All right. So that felt good. That felt nice. It was vindicating. I'm not going to post those online. Again, I don't care. You can believe me. You cannot believe me. It's up to you, baby. I don't feel the need to post them. However, I can and will, should I need to. Should somebody get the bright idea to like, be like, you know what? I'm going to deny this. I'm going to drop a case on this bitch. Then I'm ready. I'm packed and loaded. I'm armed. I'm ready. Let's go. I will fire on all cylinders and I won't give a fuck. All right? All right, cutie? Anyway, so I love that for me. I was so happy. I was like, God, you are such a queen, Alanna. What do you not think of? A lot. I'm actually quite stupid because I, got myself in this situation. I'm a dumbass. I'm a dumb fuck. Anyway, so that felt great. I'm actually feeling good right now, which is so weird because so I recorded this intro like 3 times. So you're about to hear like 3 different personalities of mine because I'm actually very upset and it's like still very triggering. I don't know where my hard drive is that has every memory of my life and like videos of my dead dad. And if I don't find that hard drive, I'll probably project my anger onto everybody and might just post all those receipts just for a thrill because I'm so pissed that I can't find it. I'm really going to need to exercise this rage somewhere. It can't be on my mom because she's battling cancer. So I'm going to have to exercise it somewhere. So it might as well be on somebody who has seriously harmed me in my life and caused a lot of damages. And the other thing I was thinking about, because people always ask me, Alanna, why don't you why hasn't you, can't believe the show hasn't sued you. Listen, you can't believe the show hasn't sued me. I can't believe I haven't fucking sued them. All right. And the fact that I'm going on Courtney Robertson's podcast every week and just being so nice and complimentary of the show. I'm not trying to like ask for praise, but like, excuse me, I'm nice. All right. When I don't even need to be. I literally live with a woman, my mother. We don't live together. I take that back. I'm not committing to that narrative. I am moving back to California. I'm here for the time being. I am co-inhabitating with a woman who happens to be my mother, and she has access to every single legal person in the world. And I have told my story, and you know what? I have a fucking case. And if I wanted to, I fucking would have. And I'm not, because you know what? I don't like to sue people. It's just weird. Not the kind of attention I want. All right? I'm hanging on by a thread here. I'm 34. My eggs are dying. Aging like Dane Cook. What am I going to do? All right? I'm not going to fucking sue your ass, but I could. So if they did want to sue me, I would fucking sue them right back. Because you know the damages that fucking show has caused my life? There's a rage inside of me. I should probably start working out or boxing, or like TPing people's houses. I need to like do something to extract this rage. The thing that I do, like the most exercise I'm getting right now is moving my mouth. And I haven't even really been doing that much. I've actually just been trying to recharge my social battery desperately for the past few days because I'm like, when you're living with your partner, I don't know, they like kind of understand you and they respect your space and they're like, okay, you know, this person clearly is going to chop my dick off if I don't stop talking to her, so I'm going to leave the room. My mother doesn't quite understand that. She doesn't really know how to read the room and understand that, like, when I say that I need space, I mean it. Like, I mean that. Bless her soul. But she's rather annoying, and she always has been. And cancer didn't quite change that, sadly. It really doesn't change anything except for your energy level and stuff, but your personality pretty much remains intact. And I have to say, nothing has changed. And I've really had to have serious conversations with her where I sat down and I'm like, I am trying my damnedest here. Okay, let's work together. Can we have a conversation? Can we be real for a second? I really need to let it out right now. This is a trigger warning, okay? Not because I'm going to talk about sexual assault or anything. No, not this time, baby. It's a trigger warning for the fucking weak-minded and the people who can't take a goddamn joke. I don't even know if everything I'm about to say is a joke. I don't know what's real and what's not anymore, but all I know is I really need to go off right now and I'm about to fucking do it. So turn it off if you don't want to hear some shit talking. Here we go. Okay. I'm going to paint you a picture here. I'm a 34-year-old woman. Okay. I've lived an entire adult life on my own. I left home very young, 18. Okay. Haven't turned back. I find myself now at the ripe age of 34, living in my mother's house because she has cancer and I'm sticking it out and waiting to get the update. Okay. She's in radiation right now. First thing. Okay. So many things are flooding because I'm just so angry with, I just had my period. So it's not that. I don't know what the fuck it is, but I'm just in such a mood right now and I'm just ready to talk shit about it. So first of all, if another person asks me when I'm coming back to California, I'm literally going to take a bath in lighter fluid. Okay. I'm going to light myself on fire. I'm going to burn to a crisp. And I'm going to ask my mom to spread my ashes all over every single person's fucking front yard that has texted me in the last month and asked me when I'm coming back home. I'm coming when I'm coming. Okay. I'm here spending time with my family reluctantly. Now, sometimes I enjoy it. Sometimes I rather enjoy it and I'm having a good time. But right now I'm really not having a good time. And they're not doing anything really. Now, they're just really fucking annoying. And I'm going to get to that in a second. But going back to the people who keep asking me, first of all, I really appreciate it. Thank you. I don't know if it's I didn't realize I had that many people in my life who care about me and want to see me come back to California, or if it's the same people asking me over and over again. I'm not really keeping score. But if this was a game, I'm telling you, you're all freaking losing right now because you're pissing me off. Stop asking me. I'm like, I'll tell you when I am. I appreciate it and I love you, but I hate you. Stop asking. Like, it's so frustrating. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Like, I mean, to get real for a second, like, I'm fucking waiting for my mom to book her scan to find out where she's at with her cancer. Like, what do you want from me? Okay, like I'm coming back to Florida. I've told everybody that. I mean, I'm coming back to fucking California. I've told everybody that. It's happening. But I'm not going to fucking get a place, go out there, and then 2 or 3 weeks from now, my mom finds out something terrible. Hopefully not. Like, always hoping for the best. And then have to fucking come back out here. Like, I'm here, I'm hanging out, I'm spending time. And you know what's so fucking funny? Before I got to Florida, because my mom found out about all this. We found out about this back in the summer. And everyone was like, when are you going to Florida? When are you going to go to Florida? You got to go spend time with your mom. You got to go spend your time with your mom. Now that I'm here, everyone's like, when are you coming back? Shut the fuck up. Like, it's like, seriously, you're annoying. You're fucking annoying. And I love you. But sometimes I want to rip your tits off. And it's not one specific person. It's everybody. It's literally everybody. And they all have the best intentions. But I'm really overwhelmed. I'm really fucking overwhelmed. Like, it's been a hell of a freaking year. And I'm just trying to, whatever. I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to do. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, I started off my journey in Florida at my sister's house because I knew I couldn't bear to spend time at my mom's. Like, my mom and I's relationship, as everyone's is with their family. I mean, not everyone. Some people have a picture perfect life and they can all freaking take their white picket fence and shove it right up their buttholes. But for me, my mother and I have a checkered past, okay? It's a tricky relationship and it's very difficult being in this house. It brings back a lot of unfavorable memories. So I started off with my sisters. That proved to be a difficult situation as well because she has 3 kids in the house. Everyone's running around screaming constantly. I really crave alone time. You can't, as a single woman with no kids, as a single anybody with no kids, you can't go from living a life of independence to waking up one day with 3 kids. I'm like Nicolas Cage in The Family Man. Okay. I'm living in this swanky apartment in the hot city. And all of a sudden I wake up in the morning and I have these freaking kids jumping in my bed. And I'm like, whose life is this? Whose kids are this? Whose house is this? This isn't my house. These aren't my kids. This isn't my wife. This is my goddamn sister. And I was like really thrown into the whole parenting act real quick. And I'm happy to help, happy to be here. But I needed my space. Okay. So I had to take a break from being family man. And so I came to my mom's. And what a shock to me. I was like, wow, I'm so happy to be here. Oh my God. It's like clean. Not that my sister's house is dirty. Okay, don't come for me, Lexi. But she's got her kids. Okay, it's a difficult situation. So I'm at my mother's house and I'm like, oh my God, this is fantastic. This is wonderful. All of our trauma and everything is so far in the past because finally, and how I got to the house, and I don't remember if I told the story or not. God fucking knows. I woke up on New Year's Eve and I couldn't hear. I'm already halfway blind. I was like straight up Helen Keller and I didn't know if I was ever going to get my hearing back. I'm only just still getting my hearing back now, a month plus later. Okay. And I was like on my deathbed in my little niece's twin bed, not knowing what the fuck was happening. My sister has her whole situation with her kids and everything going on. And I just remember I was in a daze and I was crying to my eldest niece. And I was like, Genevieve, please call Noni, my mother. And that's how I got to be at my mother's house. So I'm here now. It's been several weeks and the rose colored glasses are off. Not only are they off, they're just like smashed. They can't be repaired. I am seeing everything again and I'm going crazy and I'm almost like, oh my God, should I go back to my sister? I don't know where to fucking go. I can't go anywhere. I can't get any peace. Today, I finally was able to finagle 24 hours without talking to my mom, and it was fantastic. Here's the thing. I get it. She has cancer. It's terrible. It's horrifying. It's a freaking tragedy. Okay. But you can get cancer and still kind of be a cunt. Okay. I'm sorry. It doesn't change your personality. And my mom is like a very interesting character. You meet her and you love her. She's funny. She's a good time gal. And then you spend enough time with her. I mean, as her kid, and I'm just like, oh my God. Do you want me to slit my throat, woman? Is that your desire here? It's hard to explain. It would take me like a 10-part podcast episode to really explain the situation. I probably am going to have to wait a very long time before I can ever really talk about that. But it's a difficult situation. And then so tonight, I was in a rage today. I have this hard drive here and it has everything on it, like all my most important things, like all my videos with my dad and just like really important stuff that you just can't get back. Like, oh my God, I can't cry. Do not cry. I can't find it anywhere. And I think it somehow got lost or misplaced when I went from my sister's to my mom's. I don't know where the fuck it is. So I went to my sister's house. I looked everywhere at my mom's house today. Drive over to my sister's house in the middle of the night, looking through there. I can't find it anywhere. And I just like, I know how my mom and my sister operate. They get in like these crazy frenzies and just start throwing things out as they're cleaning, throwing things out. And I'm just like, God, I told my sister tonight, I'm like, okay, I'm not trying to be extreme here, but if someone threw out my hard drive, you're done. I will never talk to you again. I'm just saying. I understand you guys probably have mental illness, but I don't even care. Okay. That is like, who throws out a hard drive? And I know that's probably extreme, but I'm an extreme kind of gal. And I literally will, I will blow the roof off this fucking joint if someone threw out my hard drive. No one will admit it because they know my wrath and they know what I'm like when I'm mad. When I'm mad, I know you guys have kind of seen me mad. I mean, maybe you thought you saw me mad when I talked about my ex and everything he did and all the people involved. That's not me mad, baby. No, that's not me mad. That's me. I actually had clarity at that point. Okay. Me mad is a little different. Well, first of all, my niece has never seen me panic or get mad. And so we were in my sister's living room and I'm leaning against this hutch and I'm like deep in thought. I'm not speaking. My niece is talking to me. My sister goes, well, give her a second. She's having a panic attack right now. And my niece is like, she's not having a panic attack. She's not saying anything. She's just standing there. And my sister's like, that's how she has a panic attack. I'm like, I don't scream. I don't yell. Everyone else in my family does that when they're upset and crazy. When I get mad, I get real quiet. All right. I get real quiet. I start analyzing everything. I'm listening to everything that's happening. I'm watching everything that's happening and I'm clocking it. I'm clocking everyone's moves. All right. When I'm mad, I'm clocking people. And so when I get mad, I get real quiet. I block people. I get away. I step away and I really think when I'm mad. Okay. It's very rare I get mad and upset. And maybe this isn't even justified. It's probably not on it. Okay, if I'm really thinking about it, I'm probably taking all my frustrations about being stuck in my mom's house and like putting it all on this hard drive and making it like it's this like big important thing. And it is very important and sentimental and I need it and I want it and I will kill somebody if I don't find it. But that being said, I'm probably just projecting all of the things I'm feeling being in this house and wanting to like start my life again and get a new place and get back to it. So I do understand that, but it doesn't take away from the fact that, I will use this hard drive as an excuse to wreak havoc on my entire family. And that's okay. And they'll forgive me because they love me and they've done it to me times 1,000. I'm actually the sane one in my family, if you can believe that. All right. And that's the goddamn truth. Believe it or not, it really is. But anyways, I'm at my sister's house and we just vented about my mom for like an hour and I was telling her the whole story of what's been going on in the house and she's laughing hysterically. And I just looked at her and I just said, I'm too close. Like I can't laugh yet. Like it's not funny. I hope to one day be in a place where I can laugh again. But right now I can't laugh. This is not funny to me. It's very real. This is my life. I would love to explain what my mom is doing, but I really don't want to embarrass her. But just know it's a very hilarious situation and there's a lot of things happening and I'm losing it. Then today I was like, I don't really read the news, but today I was like, I'm going to fucking read the news. I read the news and I realize why I don't read the freaking news because the first thing I see is like a baby was decapitated at birth, during the birth, and they didn't tell the parents for like a couple days. Then I see that some chef, some guy, rolls around in some mud, okay? And then he gets this weird fungus and gets a lung infection through it, doesn't realize it, dies. They see his lungs in his autopsy and they look like Swiss cheese, dead, okay? Then some 12-year-old kid dies at a therapy camp. I'm like, now I'm already scared of leaving the house. Now I'm definitely not going to leave the house because I might get a freaking fungus and die and have freaking Swiss cheese lungs. I already don't want to go to therapy. Now I really don't want to go to therapy because I could fucking die. And now I'm even more scared of having kids. All right. The news is to scare the shit out of you. Why? There should be like a certain section that's like, okay, before you open this, you might not want to ever leave your house again. Like if I had agoraphobia before, if I didn't have agoria before, I definitely fucking have it now because holy shit, like, oh my God. You can't leave the house anymore. You leave the house, you get freaking, some guy swoops you up. You can't have kids. You can't go to therapy. You can't fucking roll in the mud. Like, what can you do? You can just sit on your couch with your mom with cancer and suffer until the end of time. Oh God. What is life? What is life? Anyways, listen, here comes Dave. It's a different kind of show. You know, when I'm by myself, I get a little weird, a little crazy. But when I'm talking to like another human being, I feel like I can be normal. And Dave and I kind of just had like a regular, normal ass conversation. I think it's great. I love it. I'm happy to have a man here. I'm pretty sure this is the first man that I've had. Dave Neal, welcome to Recipe for Crazy. Who the fuck are you? Who are you, Dave?
Who are you? How dare you? No, I am a small town boy from Rhode Island.
A small town boy from Rhode Island?
Yeah, how does that sound?
So boring. No, who cares?
Yeah, seriously. I mean, it's tough as one of these straight white guys here to make a name for myself out here. You know, we all look the same.
It is hard to be a white man right now. It is. I will sympathize with you for that.
I'll tell you what, though. I can use the bathroom at any hotel I want. I've got that going for me.
Oh, so you can use the women's bathroom too?
Oh, yeah. I've got it all covered. You just need confidence. You walk in and they don't question it still. So I'm riding high on that privilege. I
would question it if I saw a white man in the women's bathroom.
In my, I have cross-dressed before, and I have to say, I didn't look too bad in makeup. It was years ago. Maybe since then I faded, but it's amazing what you can do with a little lip gloss.
I could see that for you. I could see that. That doesn't surprise me.
Some feminine features. I have nice leg lines when I'm in high heels.
Which is something we taught. Well, so we recorded a whole episode and then you fucked it up by not hitting record. But I know that you like to push boundaries when it comes to what you wear because when I watched your Driving with Dave interview on YouTube with Courtney Robertson, you basically had your entire shirt off.
I'm trying to tempt the ladies to really subscribe to the channel is what I'm trying to do. Just give it all to them.
It scared me personally. I was like, but I couldn't look away at the same time. It was hard to focus.
That's what I go for is like, so what you're referencing is my buttons were all the way down on my linen shirt, but it was because I was hot and I was trying to air out pre-interview. And then, you know how Courtney Robertson is, she's beautiful. She got me all flustered and then I forgot to button up. So she got the full side boob from me. She got the whole story.
I feel like your wife has to be a confident woman that she just allows you to get into like these cars with very attractive women and talk about all this stuff, you know?
My wife, Tasha, is the best. She's beautiful. She's confident. She's super funny, gets my humor. We've been together for a long time, so I get her to say some crazy things. We're so you know how it is when you've been with someone, you start to like sort of mimic them, and we kind of do that to each other. So no, she gets it's all respectful. She knows what job I'm doing, but she loves Courtney. She was actually, when I went to pick up Courtney from the Ritz when we recorded, Tasha was actually just hanging out at the pool, which by the way, I think we were like a day or two. We were literally pregnant that week, but we didn't know it. So,
wow.
And Courtney's having a baby. I think she's 2 weeks behind us. So we're all having babies now.
There is something in the water because everybody is pregnant right now. Like, people, even my friends and people in Bachelor Nations, like everyone is having a baby. But you know what I think it is?
What's that?
A lot of people don't know this, but I'm going to tell you this right now. And I'm not saying your wife did this or not, but I'm telling you, this is a fact. There is a thing with Ozempic where it makes you get pregnant. Like people who have a hard time getting pregnant, they're like getting pregnant. It's like a whole freaking thing. Because, you know, I think Ozempic, it's like its intent is for people who are diabetic. So usually people take it when they're like older because that, you know, a lot of young people have it too, but usually you get it when you're older or whatever. So now these young people are taking it and women are finding that it's causing another side effect, which is pregnancy.
Interesting. I mean, maybe it's because everyone's losing some weight and just having more sex. How about that?
Oh, maybe it is that. That is a good point.
You know, you always got to look at like the secondary cause and effects. Now, no, I don't believe she was on that. I don't think either one of us have been. Although
I'm not making any accusations here, okay?
no,
I'm just,
that's Tasha's. She can eat like a whole cow and she looks perfectly fine. It's not fair. It's unfair. You know what's actually funny about her is people have accused her of like spray tanning. She just like naturally like a dark features, dark eyebrows, green eyes.
You're like, listen, my wife is perfect and she naturally has olive skin and is skinny and everyone needs to shut up.
No, well, what's going to happen is if the baby looks like me, she's going to feel bad because she's clearly the more attractive one. Like, you know.
Oh, you guys are fucked.
Yeah, totally. I mean, the baby he's going to have to live off of charm alone. But no, we didn't know. I mean, I'm late 30s, so this was our first time trying. And like, you know, with all due respect to people that's, you know, try for a long time, you just don't know. Like I've never tried to have a baby before. It's almost like I've convinced my sexual organs my whole adult life, don't have a kid. And now I'm like, all right, boys, it's kind of like
you gaslit your penis.
Yes.
And now you have to like
balls.
reverse.
It's really a balls.
And your balls.
Yeah.
True that I forgot about the male anatomy. It's been a long time, but you gaslit your balls and then you had to like reverse all the manipulation you had done all these years.
Imagine just like a bunch of cartoon Spartans like marching in one direction, and then after 20 years I had to say, boys, other way, and then they just like, okay, fine. Yeah. And sure enough, my wife was, you know, I don't know, it must have been August, and she was like, you know, hey, come into the bathroom. And I was like, I just had my edible. I'm relaxing on the couch. I was like, what do you want? Come on. And she's like, no, come in here. I'm like, what? And then sure enough, there it is, sitting on the table is the pregnancy test. And like like I said, we weren't even trying yet. And our gynecologist said, hey, it might take a while. You might have to go on some fertility medication because you've been out of the game for so long. And sure enough, my Irish Catholic ancestors have really, we're here to stay. I'll tell you that.
You guys aren't going anywhere. They really pulled through.
Yeah, we are colonizing for sure. I mean, look, my mom was one of 8. My sister's got 4 kids. It's just the family's fertile. It's a fertile family.
That my mom is one of 5 and my dad is one of 4. And my dad has God knows how many kids out there. I've actively tried not to get pregnant. I am aware that I can get pregnant. I don't even know how we start talking about this, but I will say anyone who's listening that is struggling with pregnancy, you really should look into Ozempic because that is a real thing for people.
Maybe they'll sponsor your podcast.
I would love it if they would sponsor me. I would freaking inject that shit right into my veins. I wouldn't even ask any questions.
Are you like, you don't want any kids or just not right now? Like, what's the season of your life?
Oh, God. I mean, I would like to have kids, just not right now. I'm not in like any rush. Like I'm 34, so the clock is a ticking, but I don't care. It's like my sister had her kid, she has 3 kids. She had her last kid at 41. My mom had me at 36. I'm like, I'm not really in a rush. And then if I can't have kids, then it's just not meant to be. But I just don't want to freaking get stuck with some psychopath like I almost just did. So I'm really trying to really make wise decisions when it comes to who enters my body next.
Yeah, is there like a Google form you make the guys fill out or like a credit score check?
Well, I did just actually end with some guy today that I met because I am very picky. It's on a Google form, but I went to this guy's Instagram page and like 3 pictures down, he and his ex-girlfriend broke up like 9 months ago, but he has like an anniversary picture of them together, kissing, all this stuff. And I was just like, hey, dude, like, clearly you're not over your ex-girlfriend. Like, I don't care. I've been there. But I just don't think it's the right timing. And he's like he's like, I just don't have a problem with memories. Like, you know, I can look. I'm like, well, imagine you walked into my house and there was just like framed photos of me and my ex-boyfriend everywhere. Like, would that rub you the wrong way? It's like a public display. So I understand that you're comfortable with memories, but like you're publicly it's just weird. And like, listen, dude, I don't care. I'm not even asking you to take them down. Keep them up for the rest of your goddamn life. But I'm just not interested in pursuing anything with anybody who is still hung up on their ex.
I dated some lady back in the day who was still, I didn't know at the time, but she was still like keeping the door open with 2 or 3 other guys. So it became very much like Something About Mary, where every guy was what we were like. I was the main guy at the time, but she had a dude who was like still in the military. And then I found out he invited her to his like Marine ball. And I was like, are you going to go to his,
God.
I was like, are you going to go to his Marine ball? And she was like, yeah, I think so. And I was like, I think we're dating. I think you're with me right now. I was like, I can't compete with a Marine. I'm on an improv troupe. You know what I mean? Like, he's fighting for the country. I'm trying to get like several laughs. It's hard. It's not fair. I always look at relationships and dating. It's like the stock market. Like you want to make your property, yourself, the highest version it can be, or else you're only going to attract like low value people. So like you got to raise your stock, and the higher you raise your stock, you're going to meet somebody who's like got a higher valuation of that. And then of course they're going to invest their highest self. So whenever like, and I'm not saying this is you at all, but whenever anyone's in like a shitty relationship, I'm always like, well, you got to learn from that, because due to the law of attraction, like equals like. So, like with your, we talked a lot about your ex, but what do you think you brought that was a red flag to that relationship? If I could turn the tides on you.
Dave, I'm perfect. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't red flags. I elevate people. My red flags,
being from Florida.
I'm from Florida.
I had a heartbreak in Florida. They get you.
I'm a Sagittarius.
That'll do it.
I'm very up and down, I would say. Like, I will be the funnest person you could be around and you're just having the best time. And then out of nowhere, I'll just think like, I'm going to die. Like death is I can't escape death. And I'll all of a sudden sink into like the sunken place. It's just like will happen on a dime. So, but with that comes like intellectual conversations and stuff. So I don't even feel like that is necessarily a bad thing, but like, I guess I'm moody. But I think that's just like a normal thing for people to be.
I think in a relationship, when you can learn the other partner's sort of schedule, what makes them tick, it really, like once you take getting offended out of a relationship, it makes it so much easier. If something sets my wife off, rather than me get upset, I go, okay, why did this anger her? And what can we, like, what's the real issue? Did I ignore her? Like certain things early on in our relationship, I would get very anxious, and sometimes I would take it out on her or need certain amounts of attention. And if I didn't get it right, she would like push away from that sort of energy. And what I've had to learn is like, use that time to be alone and get my head in the right space. Like, you never know what your limbic system, what is flaring your limbic system. And so often relationships will end before people even discovering what set it off. Do you like fall for a guy early on, or is it like, and also how long, do you have a set length before you'll like actually hook up, or is it just do you like play it by ear?
I play it by the vibe. Yeah, by ear. I'm like, I'm going to tell you this story again because I told it last time and whatever. But yeah, I mean, it really just depends. Like I try to wait. Totally honest. I've only had sex with one person since being broken up. I feel so weird telling a story again, but
please go for it.
Isn't it weird? You're like, oh my God, I heard this shit. But I'm sure that's how my mom feels because I repeat the same story over and over. Okay, so I met this guy. We were really hitting it off. We went on our first date, and we go back to my place, and we were like about to have sex, and then he pulled out a condom, and it was the first date. And normally I don't do this, but I'm like, whatever. I mean, it was just, I was feeling it. It was like in the moment, and he pulled out a condom, and it just totally like dried me up. I can't explain it. I was like, because I was in a relationship for 7 years, like with 2 people back to back, I just hadn't seen a condom in so long that it scared the shit out of me. And then time went on, we kept seeing each other, and he felt bad. He was like, I feel like I like went too far. And I was like, no, you didn't. It was fine. It was just me. Like, you didn't do anything. You didn't take advantage of me. Like, I wanted to do it. It just like the condoms freaked me out. And then finally, after like several more dates and like weeks went by, he sat me down and like looked into my eyes and was like preparing and was like getting ready to reveal something so insane, like he was dying, and he told me he had herpes. And that's why he was like freaking out, because he was going to sleep with me on the first date without having told me. I hate retelling stories. It feels so fake. I'm gonna have to cut this out.
No, keep it.
Well, and then I thought about it and I was like, I'm not willing to get herpes for my boyfriend, but I'll get herpes for my husband. And I told him that. And so we kept talking. I was like, it's just like, I'm not going to have sex with you until it gets serious. But we did end up having sex and I didn't get herpes. But we broke up for one reason or another. And then I started dating this other dude, and he sat me down in the same exact fucking way and told me the same thing, that he had herpes. And I was like, what is going on in the state of California? Like, everybody has herpes. Like, it's like a thing. I don't even know.
So my question is, for the first guy, what did you decide in advance that you were going to have sex with him, or was it in the moment? In the moment. It was in the moment. So, I mean, because if you, like, let's be honest, if you were on a dating app and you could choose between filtering for men who have herpes and filtering for men who don't, chances are you would chose the non-herpes. Not to shame anybody, but I feel like that's what you would do, right?
I looked into this. There are dating apps for people with STDs.
Yeah, totally.
But I mean, then you have to like publicly say you have an STD.
Yeah.
I mean, on the app.
Yeah. I mean,
kind of scary.
Look, I don't know this sort of protocol that exists, but if it were me, I would like right afterwards, that for men they call it the post-nut clarity. I'd be like, what did I just do? Oh my gosh! Like, were you afraid afterwards? Did you like what's the post?
I am plagued with. I have deep anxiety, but I have anxiety about the wrong things, not about the appropriate things. Like, did I just get herpes? And I'm going to make the situation even worse. We started it with a condom, and then we stopped using a condom.
Wow.
So I know. So I really should have woken up the next day like freaking out, but I didn't even care, and I wasn't even thinking about it. And I was like, my argument in my head before we had sex was like, I already haven't, like, when I date people, I already have to explain so much. Like, this is my horrific Instagram where I embarrass myself daily. This is what happened if you Google my name, all the things you're going to see. My mom has cancer. Like, do I really have to add on the fact I have herpes? Like, that feels like a lot for someone to digest. So it was really just about the fact that it was going to be even harder for me to date if I were to get that. So I should have been freaking out the next day, but I wasn't. I like waited probably like a week before I even got tested.
Now, I don't mean to freak you out, but what if like, could you have it, but it doesn't show up? Oh, so you're saying you got tested, so.
Oh, yeah. And this was in September. I've been tested twice since then, just to be sure.
Yeah, not to freak anyone out. I said this earlier, but my buddy had a one-night stand, my old roommate, and he knocked the girlfriend up and got herpes at the same time.
Oh my God, we're like repeating bits.
I don't know how
I'm just committing to it. I'm committing to it at this point. I mean, look, you've added to the story. Now I find out that the sex went unprotected. Like, what was the strategy with that? Dare I ask?
I mean, well, the strategy was we took an Ambien and we were challenging ourselves to see how long. I'd never taken one before.
Yeah, the old Tiger Woods cocktail.
Yeah, and we were drinking Topo Chicos and we were challenging ourselves to see how long we could stay up. And I was just drunk. And okay, I'm going to be totally honest with you, Dave. He had a very small penis. I was
whoa. Let's get something micro or just small average.
I wouldn't go as far to say micro, but it was below average. It was the smallest I'd ever seen in person.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And I remember when I first grabbed it, I'm not even kidding. This isn't even a joke. My first passing thought when I first grabbed his dick was, is that it?
Oh,
where's the rest of it?
Was it like a putting club? Like it was like you had to like.
I thought he like wasn't hard. Like I was like it was like your thumb kind of thing.
You had to like bend your knuckles even farther. Oh, this poor guy. So he's got a small penis and herpes. He must have been very hot. Good. I was gonna say he must have been very good looking. This man.
Very good looking and successful and all the things. And
what does he do?
But
is he?
I can't. I don't want to. I can't.
He's your agent or something. Okay.
But yeah, he was successful. But I don't want to ever out the poor guy, so I'm going to delete that.
Did you meet him on Raya?
I did, actually, yeah.
Wow. Is that so?
Yeah.
I hear Raya's all a bunch of like chefs and losers.
Pretty much.
You mean like you're not seeing like Zac Efron on there or anything, are you?
I mean, losers and Blake Horseman. That was a whole thing. I saw Blake Horseman from The Bachelor on. Oh, did you hear that? Did you hear my podcast talking about that?
I certainly did.
I mean, I'll sum it up just to recap. Like, I was just browsing. Oh, someone else I saw in there who's so hot, but I don't think he would ever like me back is Ben Smith.
Oh, I saw him in real life too. He's a real heartthrob.
God, he's cute.
He's got
I would climb that like a tree.
Yeah, he's so solid.
I know. God, he's just, and his lips. He's just, I can't explain it, but he's just freaking hot, dude. But, okay, so I was looking through and when I saw him, I want to say it was early November. Can't remember now, but I said it all then because I like had to write all this fucking receipts and shit so people would stop annoying me so I could get my times right. But I saw him in early November and I was like, oh, that's Blake Horseman. I was like, he's dating that chick from Love is Blind. They must have broken up. And then literally days later, like a week later, maybe at tops, I see the pregnancy announcement. And I was like, this motherfucker. I didn't even think to talk about it on my podcast. But then I was talking to other people about it. Like, should I say anything? And then through talking to other people, I found out another person saw him on there in October. And then I found out someone else that's a mutual friend talked to him from meeting him on the app. And I was like, okay, well, that's like not my business to share, but fuck it. I'm just like, they're like, all these people have basically the consensus was if you don't talk about it, someone else is going to talk about it. So you might as well. And I was like, all right, fuck it.
My defense of Blake is what if he was just networking? I mean, it seems to be like it would be a pretty good way to network. I mean, maybe that, as long as what's her face.
So here's the thing, Dave, there's a setting on there for dating or like for friends. And I'm only looking at people who are there for dating only. So maybe he's just an idiot. A lot of guys are. But I mean, we're giving this guy a lot of freaking credit. And the person he was talking to, it didn't seem like it was just like networking. But then my thought was like, maybe they just have an open relationship, or maybe they were like on the rocks or something. And then she got pregnant. And then he posted, or someone said something on Reddit and he posted a story and said I was crazy, but then also said that he did have a page and that he made it in like early September when he got a new phone. And I was like, I call such bullshit on that because I also got a new phone in September and I had to freaking log back into everything. Like, it charges you every month. And then he said he canceled it immediately. That's a 30-day billing cycle. I saw you in November. Somebody else saw you at the end of October. Somebody else, I don't know when the fuck they matched, but they were talking in October, November, or October-ish. So, like, the math is not mathing here. Like, as 30 days.
I'll give this. If I were say a judge here, I would say, look, all right, there's some evidence, but also it still seems like, I remember one time, like, this is years ago because I don't have an iPad anymore, but Tinder re-downloaded on my iPad. And I know that on Tinder, you don't pay for it. It's different, but it just existed. I was like, oh shit. It just like came back with my, my software or whatever. Like, his DMs must be crazy. I'm sure he gets 1,000 emails from people trying to do work with him and this and that. If he's paying $30, even $100 a month, I mean, my way of looking at it was I paid for Peacock for like 14 months before I realized to cancel it.
I mean, I do the same thing, but it's a little different when you're in a relationship. My whole thing with it is not even like, oh, men suck, men are this, like, take down men. It's more like you and your girlfriend are selling this dream to people who are following you and watching you, and you're about to push this whole narrative on people and like be selling all this baby shit and doing all this stuff, and you're a fraud is kind of how I felt.
Here's where I would push back. It's sort of like a false premise that he's like living this life. Like we don't know what his private life is, right? So maybe
no, it doesn't matter what his private life, but like you're pushing this agenda on people, but you were just being slimy.
Totally could be true, or it could have just been a wild accident. But I understand you've probably got some more, tricks up your sleeve there.
Who knows? I always have tricks up my sleeve.
Short of like a sting where you catch him meeting you at the bar, and it's like, all right, it's just like, maybe he's one of those types that, can't stand to fall below 1 million followers, and he's trying to network with high profile people because DJs need to have that kind of clout. I don't know. Again, I don't know.
God. I mean, but why would you choose to be elect to look at women who are looking to find a man, to date?
Yeah.
Why would you have your settings like that?
Great questions. I'm not his lawyer. I don't know.
Well, you seem to be his lawyer, Dave. So
I think for sure, regardless of anything else that happened to him, the way he was treated on Bachelor in Paradise was one of, I think, the worst things ever done to someone on The Bachelor. And that being that they essentially lumped him in with the Me Too movement. His name was trending with the Me Too movement, all because 2 women consensually had sex with him at Coachella. And he kind of was forced to drop the receipts of all of that, because I don't believe it was the women's fault so much as it was the editing of the show. But they made it seem like he was, taking advantage of an assault victim. It was very insane. So I always tell people, don't get mad at the women on the show or him. Get mad at production, because they rode a Me Too movement into a storyline, which I think was crazy.
I watched it before I did Bachelor in Paradise, the first time I did Bachelor in Paradise, because that was the last season before I started working on it. And I remember watching that whole thing, and I never perceived it as but maybe because I didn't watch it during the time, but I never perceived it as she was a victim of assault. It just seemed like he was an asshole.
Yeah, so not by him, but she already shared that storyline on The Bachelor. And then in the interviews that she did on Bachelor in Paradise, it was kind of unearthing all of that. And yeah, his name was trending. It was probably the worst time you'd want to get caught up in something like that. And it was so bad that he was like, I have to release the text messages, which essentially showed that, because everyone was basically saying how he was manipulating her and he had sex with her and then he led her on. And then he had to show the text messages that pretty much show her saying, I'm coming over. He says, no, you're not. We're not having sex. We're just friends. And she's like, I'm in an Uber on my way. So he released these crazy text messages, but it was kind of his only play. And it took years, I think, for people to understand that he was fighting for his complete reputation. I actually think he got sued because of it. I think he actually lost, I think Bachelor sued him after that.
I don't think it was for the text messages, but for what he was saying on the podcast. But I feel like it really speaks to just the mob mentality of people, because everyone is it's black and white. It's no one can especially during that time, you can't see any gray. He's not a person who assaults women, but he's still a douchebag. And that's the gray area. It's he's not a predator. He's not this horrible, evil person, but he's still kind of a dick.
Yeah. But you're right that people there's a reason why when there's a murder, there's first degree, second degree, there's different levels to a crime. And it's pretty scary if the biggest thing he was a dick for, which was having sex with multiple women on different nights before going on Paradise, that's not illegal. They're these women.
No, it's totally not. But it's you're just kind of a player. But it's
yeah, which is so different than what he was being accused of. And I think that's why he had.
Right.
And again, I guess it's and that's a question that society has to ask, which is who's responsible, the show for airing that or the audience for running with it? Where's the responsibility? And it really has shifted. Something happened during the pandemic where a lot more vigilante justice happens online now. You used to be able to watch this show and then maybe talk about it the next day, but you weren't trying to, and I hate to use the term cancel because it's too broad, but you weren't trying to give consequence to what you saw on the TV show. You were just like, all right, well, wait till next week. But now it's like, oh, he's the worst. How's he doing a brand deal? Call the brand deal company.
I know, it's so insane.
Yeah, corporations are very conservative with who they want to work with because nobody wants to get caught working with the wrong person. So yeah, it's a very interesting time.
It's very easy to spread hate and love. It's very easy to spread information now. Whereas Scott Peterson and Lacey Peterson trial, that was like 20 years ago around the time of OJ and all that other stuff where people were still experiencing that mob mentality. And it's like, this is just something that society has done since like the beginning of time. Like this has always been a thing, but now you can just do it so easily that so many people are getting canceled at the same time. Whereas like 20 years ago, it would just be like, there'd be a few stories and a few people, whoever the media decides to highlight. This isn't something new. I mean, people used to get stoned to death.
You know what, though? When people used to get stoned to death, you didn't have one person throwing 20 stones. And I think it's called astroturfing when you have someone online creating like multiple accounts. Now, this obviously is like separate from Blake. Like this is a different issue. But what I've seen, personally happen is people can have multiple accounts and create a grassroots like movement to like hurt somebody. Yep. So then you might have 1 million people that watch The Bachelor, and you might have, and I'm not kidding, 40 people online can fuck with that person, even though there's a million that are like, whatever, it's fine, I don't really care. So I think like content creators like myself and you've probably gotten the worst of it from people, so you understand it doesn't hurt as much once you've been attacked one or two times. You realize, all right, these are the people that they're hurt people. But corporations, they still sort of bend the knee to a lot of these online, the people. And we're not talking about people that deserve, like someone who truly fraudulently abuses a system or a person. Like there's definitely right to have consequence to certain issues. I just think some people will blow that out of proportion. And my channel specifically, my YouTube channel, man, we've gotten a lot of shit over the years for sort of having a very, I don't even want to say centrist point of view because myself, I'm very progressive. But when it comes to the emotions of we hate Greg Grippo, he's the worst, I'm always like, all right, maybe he's not. Or like Shanae, we talked about before. I never thought she was as bad as people thought. And it's just like, some people say, well, you have the privilege to not be so offended. And it's like, well, it takes a lot of energy to be offended. I think everyone's trying their best. And a lot of times on reality TV, people are seeing themselves on camera for the first time. They're acting in ways that might not be normal because they're trying to act cool, or they're trying to impress the producers, so there's just so much that goes into this quote unquote reality TV that I don't buy a lot of the outrage that comes from it. It's like, just enjoy the show.
Just imagine your worst day, where you like went out with a group of friends and you said things you shouldn't have said, or maybe you got too drunk, or you just did something stupid, or you embarrassed yourself. But you don't act like that 99% of the other times, but it got recorded and everyone got to see it. And now that's how everyone views you because of one piece of time of your life of how you acted.
Yeah.
It's just not fair.
And, I always say that too. Like, you have to have compassion for the people you hate. It's like, you have to just not get offended at someone else. You can't post anything online without somebody being like, how dare you, the PETA this or fur that. There's just something you don't even know you're doing.
I have been there emotionally or whatever for so many people after they leave a show about like hate or things they're getting. And I always say to them, and it's like, I had to end up saying that to myself, like, everything you're reading and seeing literally doesn't exist. You turn your phone off and it's gone. It does not matter. That person is typing that and then they're going back to their day and they're not thinking about it. And if they are, they're fucking crazy. So who even cares? I had a video that was like, I said something like, you're single until you're married. And then all these like 18-year-old boys were just going off and like saying the worst things about me. But I thought it was so funny. But the first time I ever found myself actually like, what the fuck, when my ex-boyfriend posted that caption about me talking shit about me, Cheeto dusted fingers, whatever. But I almost went into like this manic episode because I was so happy that he did that, because for so long, just me saying all this shit, when he did that, he like activated me. And I was like, finally, this motherfucker showed people who he is. And I kind of went crazy for a second on my stories. It really didn't do me any favors. It kind of like discredited me because I looked like a psychopath, but I'm like, whatever. I don't care. But I was getting all of these screenshots from people of what people were saying. There was this one account that was like going off on me, like hated me for some reason. And then I went on Reddit and like looked up their account and went, because you can like on Reddit go to like other comments they left and see like their history. And I realized that they were like literally only talking about me when I came up and rarely were ever talking about anything else.
Weird. And
so I like said something on my story. I called them out. I was like, listen, you little bitch. You want to talk shit to my face. Like, I'm going to call your mom. Okay. I'm going to call your mother. And then that person went back to Reddit and said, she's trying to dox me. I was like, bitch, what is doxing? What is even a dox?
This is what kills me. It's the same way with me. I've had people say, oh, Dave Neal is encouraging doxing, and they use the wrong form of what doxing is. Terrible word. Yes, it's horrible if I share an enemy's address and say, have fun with them. That's a terrible thing. But outing somebody's identity is not doxing them. And a lot of Reddit users think, oh, I can just skate by and no one will know my identity. I personally think society runs better when we all have a little bit of fear. We might get punched in the fucking face once in a while. Just a little bit of fear. Because as a man, when you go to the bar, if you accidentally step on another guy's shoes, you go, hey man, my bad, let me get you a drink. You don't want to fight some stranger. That's going to ruin your night. But if it's online, you're like, fuck your shoes, you piece of shit. What are you going to do about it?
Right.
It's
say it to my face.
That's so not fair. It's all dopamine, right? And some people have unhealthy cravings where they need drugs or they need to try to fuck as many people as they can. Everyone's got a different sort of coping mechanism. We really have yet to cope societally with all of the different things.
We're all disgusting little monsters. Like, we're all gross. Like, humans are disgusting and we ooze and we're just like sick creatures. I mean, honestly, I probably spent an hour last night rewatching a video of myself dancing over and over again because I'm gross.
I was watching that same video of you.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. I was like perfectly executed. See, if you watch Saltburn, you would understand. It was very well done. And I really nailed the choreography and I just loved it. So I mean, but it's disgusting. It's horrifying that I even did something like that, but I did. And I rewatched it 100 times and I'll probably rewatch it tonight.
There you go.
But that's what I did. I wanted to ask you, so you recap The Bachelor.
Yes.
You're a man, as we clarified in the beginning of this episode. You're a man. And well, you do more than recap. You do a lot. You have like your Driving with Dave series. You do a lot of stuff on your YouTube and your podcast and everything revolving around The Bachelor. Did you ever have like an existential moment where you're like, I'm a grown man recapping The Bachelor?
Well, I've seen people try to use that against me because it's like, all right, what is this guy doing over here? I am so grateful for the community that it has brought me to. So The Bachelor is kind of just the water cooler, and then people come and we talk about a whole bunch of things. But I went to daily content 3 years ago from weekly. My Bachelor recaps are actually my lowest watched videos. Usually, I make content about what's going on with the contestants' lives outside the show. And honestly, it's bought me a home. It's bought me a car, and we've got a baby on the way. My wife is able to not have to go back to work. So it's opened up so many doors and opportunities. New audience comes to stand-up shows that I would be so, it would not line with my ethos if I felt bad for the amazing people that I've been introduced to. And I truly don't. I mean, sure, are there days where I'm like, all right, this feels like work? Yes. But then I remember I essentially get to work from home 4 hours a day. I do a morning episode. I do a morning 25-minute podcast, an afternoon 25-minute podcast, and I do a couple videos in between. And then I have my private community that hangs out. I mean, they're just the best. It's become what I think what I think is one of the most successful bachelor communities out there. Whenever I have a hater, I'm like, I can push you in the direction of somebody that might be a little like more, toned down than me. But this is just what I am.
Yeah, go watch paint dry. I mean, who cares? Just go, whatever entertains you. So the Clayton stuff, obviously, you did like a lot of work with that, and you covered it super well with everything with the woman who came out who gave him a blowjob and got pregnant magically and then sued him, whatever the details are. But you did a lot of work with that. And then Clayton went on Nick Viall's podcast. And I'm sure you've talked about this 100 times. But I find it interesting that he went on there and talked about it. And then Nick cut your name out of the show.
Yes. So I'll just briefly, of course I went on a long rant before, but I got to go in a minute. But I'll say this, Nick has decided he lives in a world where everyone's each other's competition, and he's afraid of content creators. He's afraid of his audience finding out the names of other people, myself, Jared Freed, She's All Batch, Reality Steve. He doesn't want these independent people to be talked about because they may draw attention away from what he's building. That's okay. I have a completely different viewpoint. Do I think it's wrong that he deleted my name? Yes, I think it's essential. It's akin to plagiarism. It's wrong. I texted him that. I said, I'm going to have to make a video about this. Whether you like me or don't like me, it's not ethical to like actively. It's one thing if he'd never mentioned me, but to take my name out of that conversation is taking food off of my family's dinner plates, because we did a lot of work. My community raised money for Clayton long ago, months ago. We helped raise money for him to get the lawyers needed to start winning this case. I'm being sued February 8th, 2024 in LA Superior Court. If anyone wants to come hang, we'll be there in the courthouse. I'll be giving what will be the speech of my life. And whether I win or lose that lawsuit, I would put your money on me winning. I am going to just wreak havoc afterwards, because the fact that as a journalist, I'm being sued for sharing the truth is absurd, and you can't get away with it. But that's why, hey, some people don't like the truth and don't like the consequences that come from it. But my channel, Bachelor Rush Hour, will be sharing all the updates to all of those.
I will definitely be tuning in. That sounds exciting. Good for you.
Yeah, thanks. And of course, I know you're going to come out and hang with me, so we'll do some driving with Dave, and maybe we'll find you a nice man in Nashville.
Oh my God. I have one more question for you, and then I appreciate your time, and then I'll let you go. This is the first time you and I have spoken. So what were your thoughts seeing like all this stuff between two Bachelor producers and a Bachelor producer sleeping with a contestant and all that stuff that I was posting on my page? Like, what were you thinking when you were watching all of this stuff unfold?
Well, I'm usually on the side of believing things, just because, yeah, it makes sense. He's a producer, a position of power. You work with someone long enough. Not necessarily surprised, but if I were to say, I don't know, like I said, if I was like a jury, would I find you credible? I'd find you pretty credible. You don't come off crazy, but at the same time, you are like not a neutral party to it all because you dated him. And a lot of times when I deal with people that, it'll be like TikTok exposes so-and-so, we can cut through that bullshit right away when it's done for clout. And I didn't feel like that was the case at all. I think you meant what you said, and, you feel like it's wrong, a lot of the things that happened, and you have every right to share your story and talk about it. Put it this way, what did I find it super salacious? Yes. Was I surprised? No. Because I feel like most people that go on the show don't even feel like it's real anyway, even though, I feel like there's 2 or 3 people that are the serious contenders and everyone else is just on the show fucking around. Now, does that mean it's fair and ethical when someone's cheating on? No, of course it's wrong. But it's almost like they find the messiest of people And then what am I supposed to be surprised that some of those messy people they find also are messy off show, you know? So not surprised, but for sure, super interesting.
I hope people question things because you should. But anything I say it with the thought in the back of my head, like I would love to be taken to court because then you'd really be fucked.
Probably a reason why you haven't been sued, because you've got your information. And I say the same thing when this Jane Doe character who's suing me, when she wrote an article calling me a cyber bully, I said, you know what? As much as it sucked seeing that she would call me the cyber bully when I've been the champion of a lot of victims here, I was like, you know what? Let people do the research. Let them Google my name. Let them see all of the things, all of my backbone. And sure enough, because of that, I had have extremely high-end sources have come through from her camp that said they saw her article, they Googled me, and they were able to do their own research and come to the conclusion that I'm on the right side of this. So much so that she ended up taking my name out of the article because she realized it backfired. So all you can do out here in the world of content is be impeccable with your word, one of the 4 agreements, and the rest works itself out.
Wow, what a bright, shining light you are, Dave Neal.
Oh, shucks.
Wow. Your wife is lucky to have you.
I'll tell her you said that. We'll see what she says.
I really appreciate you coming on, and take care, you and your community.
Yeah, will do.
And I will definitely be tuning in for your speech at your court case.
Oh, it's going to be good.
You sold me. I love a good telling off speech. Oh God, I love it.
Yeah, the marble steps outside of the courthouse. Fuck yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't happen, but I feel like it's a win-win either way because it'd be fun to watch. Okay, that was Dave Neal. Thank you, Dave Neal. Respect. I think I'm going to drop another episode tomorrow. I probably need to talk to an attorney first because something very interesting happened, and I'm not trying to overhype it. I'm going to try to undersell it here. But holy shit. Okay, it's a lot. So I got to talk to some people, but I'll be back, and you might hear from me tomorrow. Love ya. Bye-bye.